September is commemorated in South Africa as Heritage Month. Since its inception in 2004, the National Heritage Council of South Africa has placed heritage as a priority for nation building and national identity. Among an array of programs, it has recently hosted the first Early African Intellectuals Lecture dedicated struggle icon Solomon Tekisho Plaatje. Joining us in our Pretoria studios is Advocate Sonwabile Manqotwa, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Heritage Council. Good morning to you, Advocate. Thank you for joining us here on AM News. Can you take us through the programs that the NHC has held in September to commemorate Heritage Month?
Thanks so much. To be remembered that the theme for this year's celebration is reclaiming, restoring, and celebrating our heritage. This really aims at ensuring that we're able to position our heritage and enhance its value for socio-economic development and social cohesion. We have a number of programs. Provinces have come up with their own programs. The Heritage Council is playing a supportive role to those. For instance, on the 20th, on Friday, there will be the Golden Sheet Heritage Awards hosted in Bloemfontein, Mangaung, in the President's Hotel, where South Africans were afforded an opportunity to choose or affirm people who have contributed in heritage and promoting our heritage at different levels. Our sites, management of our heritage, as well as individuals, living treasures, those people who have, the young people, professionals, and as well as heritage practitioners generally. We also have a youth walk where we'll be taking young people to SADC countries to experience or experiment the Liberation Trail, and to reconnect with the road to freedom, and look at a number of sites that are fascinating in that, so that they're educated. There's also an outreach project where we're partnering with South African National Parks. Again, young people are taken to a youth camp where they are educated about their own heritage. These are platforms of ensuring that indeed, we celebrate our heritage, we reclaim our heritage. It's so rich, and of course, the national heritage event is going to be organized, hosted in Mdantsane, in the Eastern Cape. Those are national celebrations. It will be remembered that Mdantsane, as the second biggest township in South Africa, has had a number of, in fact, very rich heritage with a history of resistance in that area, and being, of course, at the forefront of the liberation struggle. This is the home of boxing in South Africa, so. For the first time, Heritage Day will be hosted in that, historic township, where the president of the country, Honorable Jacob Zuma, and as well as the Minister of Arts and Culture, Mr. Paul Mashatile, will be sharing with the people and the public, what really the significance of this day. And why is it important that we celebrate our heritage? Remember that heritage is best placed when it is in the hands of ordinary South Africans. It is a footprint of every South African. So ours is a supportive role because this really belongs to the people. Whilst everything was taken away, heritage it's that which was never taken away. But by any by the colonialists. People know it. It's actually in their own hands. Or ours is to play a supportive role to ensure that South Africans are able to celebrate their heritage, celebrate our own cultural diversity, but at the same time saying that as we preserve this heritage, how do we inform the successive generations as we go forward? Because this is not just about preserving, our past, but it's about informing the current generation, as we move forward as a country.
Advocate, your lineup sounds fantastic. Tell us, how does Heritage Month impact on the country's economy through these events and activities?
It does because each and every locality in South Africa, every small town, every rural community has a history to tell. What we have done in the past 5 years has been to find a linkage between our heritage authorities and as well as culture. Tourism, heritage and tourism in that way, because as you know that. Cultural tourism is a big contributor to our economy. And now, all what we're doing, for instance, through the Liberation Route, is to package sites, working with a tourism board, so that there is significant empowerment. We are now beginning to train people. You're working with Kath Sita as tour guides in the rural communities. That's really. That will go a long way in terms of ensuring empowerment of those communities, so that in a place where there's a site, I mean, I've seen right now with the price of gold and what is happening in the mines, the rural communities are beginning to feel, the brand of unemployment and so forth. Now, heritage is beginning to play a very important role in the economic development, organic industries that which will actually come. And then the whole tourism that will impact on enhancement of local economies.
It sounds very encouraging. Now, in July, President Zuma announced that a new university in Kimberley, Northern Cape, will be named after Saul Plaatje, and the institution will offer heritage studies. Now, what exactly will the studies entail?
Many discoveries in South Africa, if you look at from Cradle of Humankind, they have been really conducted by our white South Africans. Sometimes even foreigners, precisely because of this absence of investment in education. But of course, with what was happening in our country, our dark past and so forth. But now, the heritage studies and investment in education, through heritage, will go a long way in ensuring that we develop people, our own people, more especially historically marginalized communities, so that they play a role. I mean, we're offering bursaries ourselves, but with the heritage studies in Saul Plaatje University, that is going to go a long way. Of course, we'll have now twinning of these universities, because already University of Forte, which is the first black university in South Africa in 1915, they're already offering the studies, and then as well as there's also archives in Forte. So this is going to enhance knowledge production, so that we have our own, South Africans being involved in these discoveries, as to change this, and then there's a lot. Our history still needs to be decolonized, and then if once now we have South Africans playing an important role in that regard, and also not only heritage studies at university, we need to ensure that at lower levels of education there's continuity, so that our young people start developing interest and career choices on heritage at a very young age. As Steve Biko once said, that teach them as young as they are about their own, heritage, not just history, but memory, which is very important.
Advocate, as National Heritage Council, are you happy with the way South Africans celebrate their heritage?
I think we're quite satisfied, but more still needs to be done. If you look at countries like China and Asian countries, generally, they have invested on their own, heritage. And if you look at the visitations, for instance, our visitations to our museums and heritage sites is still skewed in favor of foreigners or foreign tourists or international tourists. we still want to change that, so that we must at least have a target of at least 70% of South Africans or locals visiting our sites, our students and so forth, because these sites, our museums, they are not just tourist attraction points. These are reservoirs of knowledge. They are centers of excellence. Hence, it's important that South Africans, if you want to enhance social cohesion, if you want to enhance patriotism, if you want to increase other campaigns like Proudly South African, we need South Africans to be exposed in the sites, in this memory, in our own social memory, which is really very important for us to enhance and stimulate socio-economic development in our country.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and for joining us here on AM News Advocate.